Well, hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello. If you are new here, my name is Riley. If this is the first video you are seeing from me, I am a mom to a 15-month-old little boy, and right now I'm currently 20 weeks pregnant with my second baby, who is a little girl. We have not yet named her yet, so that is still in the works. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that has been a struggle for us for a while now, but today we're doing another sit down video. I've just really been into just kind of hanging out and being able to chat and just talk about different things and not really having to do like the hustle and bustle of vlogging. I was in a vlogging mood there for a little bit, but now I'm kind of moving into sit down videos, and it's just getting like kind of gloomier outside and we're getting into fall. It's getting colder, so I'm just feeling cozy in my house. But today we're going to be talking about some things that I wish I would have known as a first-time mom, and even things you guys wish you would have known as being a first-time mom. I did ask some questions on my Instagram, and you guys gave me a lot of good responses, so I put them all in a big list. So we're going to go through all of those today. And I do want to preface this video by saying everybody's experience is a little bit different, so some of these things, don't let them scare you if that's something that you haven't experienced, or if it's something that wasn't your experience. There's just a lot of honest responses, and a lot of these I can resonate with. So if there is something that I don't mention in this video, or that somebody didn't say that you wish you would have known as a first-time mom, please leave those down in the comments below. I would love to talk with you guys and just hear some things that you also wish you would have known. And if you are a first-time mom, I used to watch videos like this before I had James, my first baby, and I thought that they were really helpful to me. But even still, I just feel like you can't really understand some things until you're actually in it. But I'm gonna stop rambling and not make this introduction any longer than it needs to be. And we're gonna go ahead and get into some things we wish we would have known about being a first-time mom. All right, so the first response is, it can be hard in the beginning, but it gets better. And this one I really resonate with. I think this is actually from a friend of mine who was struggling in that first little postpartum period with me, who I leaned on a lot. But that is something that if people ask me or are just wanting some advice for the newborn stage, I just tell them it's okay if it's hard in the beginning and if you struggle, because each stage has its own hard and each stage has its own easy, or things that you love about it. I know I'm kind of a broken record when I say that, but the newborn stage for me personally was very challenging. I will link my postpartum video below, and even my last video where I kind of open up a little bit more about my experience. But things do get better. In the beginning, you're just trying to figure out like a new dynamic. You have this new baby to take care of. You're trying to figure out breastfeeding. You're trying to figure out like schedules and just different things, like trying to meet your baby and get to know them, figure out what they like, what they don't like. So I really, really like this response that it can be hard in the beginning, but it gets better. So the next thing on the list that somebody responded was, it's okay to not have a birth plan. And I really resonate with this advice because I didn't really have a set birth plan. I had some things that I wanted, like I knew I wanted the epidural. I knew I wanted to try and have a baby vaginally. I didn't want to be induced unless medically necessary, different things like that. But when it came to my actual birth, I didn't have set things in place that I knew I absolutely wanted or knew I absolutely like had to have for my experience to go good. But again, that's just my personality. I know there are so many people who love to have things planned out, be able to have that birth plan in hand and hand it to your hospital staff, your midwife, your doula, whoever, and just have that set plan for the day to feel secure and feel better about themselves. So this is definitely something that can go either way for people, but for me, I didn't want to be let down in this situation. I just had the mindset of however baby has to get here, baby has to get here safely, safest for me, safest for them. But again, that can be up to your own interpretation. Also, sorry if I'm out of breath. I'm trying to read these fast and not ramble on them too much, but I am a talker, so I do apologize. So the next thing on the list is, you will have time to do the things you love again. And I think this is really, really important because I was kind of stuck in that cycle in the beginning. Like, you are like clockwork around this little baby in the beginning, and you feel like you are never going to be able to get a break or be able to go out and do the things that you want to do. But again, it does get better. You do have time again to do the things you love. I love to bake and cook and obviously make videos, create content. So that kind of had to take a back burner, trying to get into that in your routine. But once your baby gets on more of a schedule and they get a little bit more predictable, it's easier to set aside time to do things that you like and things that you love to do once enjoyed. For me, usually that time is like a nap time or during the evening. You just have to find what time of day works best for you, but you will get back to doing the things that you like to do again. I promise. Next thing on the list is you might not have an instant connection with your baby. And this is again something that is not going to be true for everyone. I've had friends who say they had their baby and it was just like this magical moment, like they just loved them so much when they met them. And then there's people who said they had to get to know their baby, like they had their baby, they loved them, like seeing their face, it's such an exciting time, and but still had to get to know them, still had to bond with them. And I was kind of like this in a sense. In the beginning, I felt like I wasn't really bonding with James, and I just had kind of a lot of guilt and sadness over that. But over time, that just kind of builds up. Like I said, you get to know them a little bit better. You kind of get into a groove with everything because they are a little stranger that is coming out of your body. And this was something that was really hard for me to hear, like before I had him, because I just thought in my head I had this like romanticized, like unrealistic expectation that once he came out, like everything was going to be great, and like it wasn't what I expected. So I think that was kind of a letdown in my own brain too. But it is completely normal if you do not have an instant connection with your baby once they are born. This one kind of goes along with the first point. It says it's okay not to be okay, and it gets better. And this was something that I also feel like I needed to hear in the beginning when I was going through all those baby blues and just not feeling like myself and just crying all the time and just being emotional and like being happy one minute and sad the next, and just like things being really overwhelming. Was it's okay to feel those things, and sometimes you just have to sit and sulk in them for a little bit, but you have to kind of tell yourself like you can't stay here forever, and then it's gonna get better, and that things are going to change and keep changing. So once I kind of accepted that and learned that, things got a lot better, but definitely in the beginning, it is definitely okay not to be okay. This next one is kind of referring to the toddler stage, kind of getting out of the newborn talk we've been doing for a second, but it is the toddler stage hits you like a ton of bricks. And I feel this in certain ways, and then in other ways I love the toddler stage so much more than the baby stage. I love that he is like up and moving around. I just feel like he's such a happier baby now that he can communicate a little bit better and he can walk around and he's mobile. Like once James got mobile, he was a different baby. Like when he could go where he wanted, he could see what he wanted. But the toddler stage definitely is starting to get a little bit more challenging as you're moving into actually parenting and like disciplining your child, and just like trying to find like the boundaries to set and like how to discipline them for their age and certain things. So it is definitely rough some days, and you feel like you're getting like 50,000 snacks all day long. Like they just eat a meal and then 15 minutes later they want a snack, and then they're thirsty, and then so sometimes, yes, it does hit you like a ton of bricks, but there's also some fun moments in the toddler stage too. Like I said in the beginning, there is a hard in every stage and there's an easy in every stage, but toddler stage, definitely not for the weak sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna move on to my little second page. But this one is that it's normal to have the baby blues and miss pregnancy. And this was also something that I struggled with. Once I had James, I really missed and kind of mourned being pregnant, because I've said in previous videos and before, I just love the experience of being pregnant. I'm so thankful for this experience. I just feel really good. I've honestly felt like the best I've ever felt while I'm pregnant, especially in the second trimester. So after that, and just feeling like so emotional and just sad and like all those baby blues feelings coming, like sometimes I feel like I would just sit and cry in the shower because he was outside now and like wasn't safe like in my belly, and I wasn't pregnant anymore and like couldn't feel him kicking around. So it was sad that I wasn't pregnant anymore, but I was happy that he was here and I could finally see him, and like obviously that he was finally here. So it's kind of a struggle, and I feel like some people are the complete opposite. They are like, I hate getting pregnant, I hate being pregnant, get this baby out of me, I am over this, like are just ready to have their baby. So I kind of understand a little bit of both sides of that, but definitely both of those feelings are normal and valid whether you love pregnancy or you are not the biggest fan of being pregnant. I completely understand because everyone's situation is so different, but that is also something that is very normal, and they wish they would have known as being a first-time mom. I gotta take a breather for a second. Okay, so this next one is a little bit longer of a response, but I really liked it and wanted to include it because I feel like this happens more often than not and people really don't tell you a whole lot about it. But this person said that it's okay and that you're a good mom instead of giving unsolicited advice and making moms feel like they're wrong or they're not being a good mom. So I feel like this comes from a place of sometimes you don't want advice, or sometimes you don't want someone to like fix things or tell you things. You just want them to kind of be there for you and tell you that it's okay and that you're doing a good job. And I'm kind of guilty of this sometimes because I'm just kind of like a doer and a fixer. Like, you come to me with a problem, sometimes I just like want to help you and give you a solution, and it can come off kind of as like I'm trying to give unsolicited advice or different things like that. And I've really been trying to work on that about myself, but sometimes you really just do need to kind of relish in those feelings with someone and tell them like it's okay that you're sad, you're a good mom, you're doing the best that you can, you are the best for your baby. And sometimes, especially in those early days, like that's all that I needed and wanted to hear, because you just kind of feel a little bit crappy about yourself sometimes, and like mom guilt creeps in and just different things. Like, you just don't feel adequate, and you see all these moms that are doing all these different things that maybe you're not doing. So I completely understand this question, and I completely understand this response, and I just wanted to include it because I feel like that's really important. So if a mom comes to you, sometimes all they want to hear is that they're doing a good job. The next little piece of advice is to trust your instincts. You know what's best for your child. And I really like this one because mom intuition is such a real thing, and I feel like you don't really understand it until you become a mom. But 9 times out of 10, my gut feeling is right for things that are wrong with James. And I feel like as a first-time mom, you can kind of feel inadequate on certain things like illness or just certain things going on with your child, but you're with them every single day. You know them better than anybody else. So always trust your instincts, because even if you do take them to the doctor or the emergency room or what have you, and it ends up being nothing or something minor, you at least gave yourself that peace of mind and took them in and just got them checked out. And that's always kind of like in the back of my mind. I would rather take them and nothing be wrong than not take them and something really big be wrong. But yes, I really like that response, to trust your instincts, because 9 times out of 10, mama knows best. This next one I feel in my soul right now because we are currently on a food strike with my little toddler, but it says toddlers only want to snack and not eat meals majority of the time. And this is so true. And it's so different for every baby. Some kids are really good eaters, some kids are really picky eaters, but I feel like every kid goes through a picky eating or like a snack stage where they don't want to sit and eat a full meal. And sometimes even as an adult, it's hard to sit like for a whole meal and finish a whole meal. And sometimes you just want to snack throughout the day. So right now, as long as they are gaining weight and doing everything they're supposed to be doing, and your doctor's happy with it and you are happy with it, don't worry so much about it, because they will eat when they are hungry. They will find snacks that they just want to eat over and over again, and then the next week they don't want anything to do with. That's how we are right now with peanut butter sandwiches and yogurt. Like, there's hardly anything outside of that he really wants to eat. And before that, he would be like a little human garbage disposal and eat almost anything I put on his plate. So definitely toddlers go through phases of wanting to eat full meals and snacks and all the things. Completely normal. Next one is you'll love each stage more than the last in different ways. And I feel like I've said this like a bajillion times in this video already, but it is so true. There are certain things that I love about each stage, and like I'm sad to see them go, but I'm so excited to like see what else is to come. And it also is a little bit bittersweet because now that James is walking, I'm like, he's so big, like he's not crawling around anymore, he doesn't need my help as much anymore. But then again, it's so nice because he's gained a little bit of that independence. Like I said before, he's way happier. He does get into a lot more things, but I just like to see him gain that independence and like be able to start doing things for himself and like want to do different things. So definitely really like this response that you do love each stage more than last in so many different ways. So this next one on my list kind of makes me a little bit emotional, but it is so true. And it says, you'll understand all the emotions your mom felt and you'll love her even more. And that is so true. My mom was one of my biggest supporters in the beginning because she really understood what I was going through. Sometimes when I feel like nobody else did, because she did struggle with the baby blues and just like all the emotions and everything when she had me and my sisters. So it was really nice just to have kind of that shoulder to cry on and just have somebody understand how you're feeling, telling you it gets better, even if in the moment you don't think that it's going to get better. But even just certain things now, like the mental load that you have as a mom, like the grocery shopping, the meal planning, appointments, just like every single thing that you have to do to make your house go around every single day is just a lot to handle. And I think that's something that nobody really prepared me for either. And I feel like you can't really be prepared for that until you are a mom and you have all those responsibilities and all those tasks put on you. That's something I feel like you kind of move into and you settle into in your role like as a mom and into motherhood. But definitely have so much more love and respect for my mom and just all the things that she did for me and my sisters and my family, but definitely have a new appreciation and understanding now that I'm a mom myself. So the next thing on my list is give yourself some grace and lower your expectations because you can't do it all. And I have to remind myself this all the time. And this was something I think kind of hit me like a truck in the beginning. Was I had a lot of these unrealistic expectations of motherhood and just how life was going to be with a baby. Like I didn't think it was going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but I definitely didn't think it was going to be as hard as it was in the beginning. And definitely social media and just like other moms that you see out there feel like they have it all together, that they can get it all done, and most days that is just not practical. Like sometimes I have to choose between like doing my hair or getting dressed for the day or vice versa. Like one thing's got to give, or the dishes might not always get done, or the laundry might not always get done and folded, and that is okay. And that's something that I've had to tell myself and like learn how to let go of a little bit, because with being a parent all the time, all those things are not always practical. And then the next one kind of goes along with this. It says, don't compare yourself to other moms or social media. And I think this is really important too. And I just shared something on Facebook the other day about this, and it's like, it's a picture of this house, and it's like, this is the house that you wanted before like Pinterest and before you saw all of these beautiful houses on social media that are kind of like unattainable for you. You just live in a normal house, like a normal size house with normal decorations and normal things. That is okay too. I mean, social media is kind of a burden when it comes to those things. It always wants you to have like the next best thing or the bigger, better thing, and just kind of makes you feel like crap about yourself all the time. So definitely whatever you have to do to protect your peace, do it. I know social media can give you a lot of inspiration for certain things. I know I draw a lot of my inspiration and recipes and different things like that from social media, but there's definitely a not so great side to it, especially when it comes to moms and comparing yourself and mom shaming and all the things that are out there that I just really don't understand. I'm just a big advocate for you got to do what's best for you in your situation and nobody else's. And that is my best advice when it comes to not comparing yourself to people. And it is way easier said than done, but I have just been so much more at peace by letting certain things go and just living how I want to live and doing things how I want to do them. So the next thing is don't stress about baby milestones. And I feel like this one is so true too, because babies just grow at such a different rate and do things at such a different time. So if everything is going good between you and your doctor and they don't have a concern, don't worry about what anybody else's baby is doing, because even just seeing James and my little nephew, they're 3 months apart. Right now, they're kind of at the point where they're catching up with each other and starting to do kind of the same things, but they both did things at different times. Like James didn't do a lot of like the gross motor, like the big movements like walking and crawling and different things like that, but he did a lot of the fine motor stuff really early. And my nephew is the opposite. Like he's already up, like crawling, he's walking the same time as James, and they're 4 months apart. He's 4 months younger than him, so you really can't compare it that much, because once they get into school, you're not going to know the difference if they're 3 months older, or who walked first, or who ate what first, or who did this first. So don't stress so much about baby milestones if you're a pediatrician and you are at peace with how your baby is growing, because every baby really does grow at their own pace. And from working in a daycare, I witnessed that firsthand all the time. And the last one on my list is you will feel like yourself again. And I feel like this was a really good one to end with, because I feel like motherhood, you can kind of get lost in motherhood and kind of like lose your identity a little bit, because in the beginning I kind of went through that a little bit, just like, who am I? Like, what am I anymore outside of being a mom? I have no idea. So I really had to kind of push and find what I was passionate about. And that's when I really started getting into like content creating and baking and cooking. Like I found little things like that brought me joy and kind of like brought me back to something that wasn't related to motherhood or wasn't related to changing diapers or a baby, and just kind of helped me reset a little bit, focus on myself, especially when he would go to bed in the beginning. Like I tried to read, I would try to bake like cookies or do something at night, just something that was solely for myself and for nobody else. And I really encourage you to find whatever that is. Like right now, my sister just found a hobby of making spoon rings, and she's loving it. She's doing great. I will link her shop down below if you guys are interested in it. They're so pretty, but it's just, it can be anything. It can be spoon rings, it can be baking, it can be working out, it can be reading, just whatever you find joy in that's outside of motherhood that makes you feel like yourself. I really encourage you to do it, because it really does make a huge difference. And I know it can be hard to find the time because of all the things that you have on your brain and all the other things that you think you could be doing with your time other than something you want to do for yourself. But honestly, it makes the biggest difference in my day. Even if I just take 10-15 minutes just to do some like self-care in the shower, paint my nails, like do a face mask, do something for yourself. And I promise you, you'll feel even a little bit more refreshed. But that is all that I have for today's video of talking about all the things you wish you would have known about being a first-time mom. Again, I try not to be too long-winded and too chatty, but that's just kind of the style of this video and what it was going to be. But if I've left anything out or there's anything that you want to add to this video, like I said in the beginning, please give me a comment down below. I would love to talk with you guys about it and just see what you have to say about something you wish you would have been told as a first-time mom. I will also leave all my social media link down below for you guys if you want to follow me on there. I'm very active on posting on my Instagram. I've been sharing a lot of recipes and just different things like that over there lately, and sharing some things on TikTok. But I'm out of breath, so I'm gonna stop rambling. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.